Hello students, this will be the next class of your investment management subject. What we're going to discuss today is about the third unit, that is common stocks, basic features of common stocks we are going to discuss today. All units are of practical. Your first unit consists of less practical, as we have already discussed in the class. So common stock shareholders are part owners of the firm and thus have a claim on the wealth created by the company. This claim is not without limitations. Common stocks are nothing but stock, a share of a company. So common stock shareholders are part owners of the firm. So like if you buy now, if I buy a share of a company, Infosys, let's say Infosys, I have purchased some 100 shares. So I will be called as an owner of that 100 shares as such. So then I will be a stockholder, shareholder now. So like that only, common stock shareholders are part owners of the firm and they have a claim on the wealth created by the company. Dividend. In what form is claim means they'll get a dividend which the company earns on the shares. This claim is not without limitations, means there is no limit. If you owned more, you get more as such. Residual owners, a common stockholders claim on company's wealth is a subordinate to the claims of the other investors, such as lenders, and thus there is no guarantee that they will receive any return on their investment as such. So residual owners are nothing but the people who started the business, the equity shareholders. So common stockholders' claim on company's wealth is subordinate to the claims of the other investors, the lenders, and there is no guarantee that they will get they will get the definitely or returns on the investment, because after if profits, either the company is getting profits or loss after dividing among, if the, let's say for example profits 5,000 is there. For that 5,000 profit, first they need to pay to the debenture shareholders. So after distributing among the debenture shareholders, preference shareholders, and the outsiders of the company, what is remaining among them, whether they are not left out with anything also, they have to not divide anything. If negative balance is there, so they have to divide losses also equal. They have to divide losses also equal. So here, as I just said, what is remaining, they will, when there is a negative balance left out with them, they have to divide among them equally as such. So that work will be done by the equity shareholders. Next is the appeal of common stocks, popular investment choice for both individual and institutional investors. Stocks may increase in value over time and generate significant capital gains. Yes, stocks, you have to wait. What you say, general line statement is there. You buy a stock and hold it. So you need to buy it and hold it. Then only you will get the benefit. Like, you should not be greedy that immediately after purchasing a stock you should get a benefit as such. You will not get immediately benefit. You need to wait for a time. So you buy a stock and hold it for a period of time. Then only you will get a capital gains. That is what it will increase over a period of time, not immediately as such, in face of capital gains. So stock may provide a periodic income stream through dividends as such. So they will provide a periodic income, that is through dividends. You receive a dividends on the stocks. Putting stock price behavior in perspective, when the market is strong, you can generally expect to benefit from price appreciation. When the price is increasing, you will be benefited. When markets falter, so do investors' returns will be there. Bad market days are the expectations rather than the rule, exceptions rather than the rule. The Dow Jones Industrial Average over 118-year period from 89 to 97 to 15 dropped just 40 times. So it only dropped 40 times, means you can analyze it's always increasing. It's an market index, US based, Dow Jones Industrial Average. Like how BSE we have Indian Sensex index. It's an Dow Jones Industrial Average is an US index as such. Other roughly 2/3 of the time the market was up from less than 1% to nearly 82% on the year. So upside potential, it grew 500% over 12-year period. at an average annual return of nearly 17% as such. So that is what he said. So from stock prices to stock returns, they take into account both behavior and dividend income. The big returns come from capital gains. Return from capital gains range from an average 16.5 during 90s to minus 1.4 in 30s. So it depends your returns. Now we are going to discuss about the basic characteristics of common stock. Equity capital. As I said, equity share capital. Every share of common stock represents an equity position in a company. This is why stocks are sometimes called as equity securities. So the another way what I can say is the people who start the business also, they also represent the equity shareholders. So every share of a common stock, they represents an equity ownership in the company. So the reason they are called as equity securities. Common stocks as corporate security, buying and selling stock, and common stock values are the three elements you will be coming across in the equity capital. So when I said just now, I have already said you, when you are dividing the profits, you have to the dividends as such. You get the dividends returns from the securities as dividends as such. First, the debenture shareholders, the long-term loans, whoever have given to them interest, the preference shareholders. After distributing to all of them, what is remaining will be divided among equity shareholders. Apart from that, losses to they will definitely divide it. Profits also, what is left out, they are going to divide it. So one basic feature is equity capital. The other is corporate common stock as corporate security. Publicly traded issues shares of stock that are readily available to the general public and that are bought and sold in the open market. So they are readily available. New shares, either it will be public offerings, issuing new shares, or rights offering. If you have heard it, secondary market, primary market, where primary market new and fresh securities will be bought and sold, whereas in the secondary market old and existing securities will be bought and sold as such. An offering to sell the investing public and a set number of shares of a firm stock at a specified price. Existing stockholders are given the first opportunity to purchase new shares of the company's stock in proportion to his or her current ownership position. So here, a specified price will be there under public offering, whereas in rights offering, they have the shareholders have a first opportunity to purchase new shares of the company's stock in proportion to his own current ownership position as such. In both the offerings, the firm ends up with more equity in its capital structure and the number of shares outstanding increases as such. Obviously, when existing customers only will purchase more of them, so their capital structure will increase. Stock split. When a company increases the number of shares outstanding by exchanging a specified number of new shares of stock for each outstanding share. So 2 for one stock split, 2 new shares of stocks are exchanged for each old share. Stock split is basically you split the shares, new shares and old shares. So if at all old shares are performing very well, so what they do is the company itself, they go to the existing shareholders and they say that take 2 shares, new shares, so that they have to perform well. We will take your 1 share as such. So in exchange for 1 share, or 3 for 2 old outstanding shares. Like that the stock split takes place. So usually done to lower the stock price to make it more attractive to investors. Normally the price of the stock falls roughly in proportion to the terms of split. So for example, Starbucks Corporation for 2 for 1 stock split 2015. The price day before split it was 95.23. But opening price day split went into effect for 47.65. That is how the stock split works. This is another feature. The another one is treasury stock. Shares of the stock that are originally sold by the company and have been repurchased by the company. Shares repurchased are often called as buybacks. So it's a treasury stock where shares of the stock that were originally sold by the company and have been repurchased by the company. So the companies which are repurchased, the shares which have been repurchased are often called as buyback. So if you have sold it and you are purchasing it back again, so that the reason it's known as buyback of shares. Reduces the number of shares outstanding to the public, kept by the corporation, and may be used later for mergers, acquisition, to pay stock dividends, or to meet employee stock options plans. So it reduces the number of shares outstanding to the public as such. If you buy back it, kept by the corporations and may be used later for mergers. So these treasury stocks are kept with them only, so that it can be used later on for mergers, acquisitions, to pay any stock dividends are there, or to meet employee stock options plans as such. Companies buy back when they believe their stock is undervalued and a good buy. So they buy back when they believe their stock is undervalued and a good buy. So when the value of their shares have been decreased, so they buy back them. Companies also repurchase shares as an alternative to paying dividends. To pay a dividend, they also purchase the stocks. Short-term impact usually positive. Stock prices generally goes up as such. So here, common stocks common stocks are a corporate security, are classified into classified common stock. Common stocks issued in different classes, each of which entitles holders to different privileges and benefits. Different shares have different voting rights, may also be used to grant different dividend rights. Often used to allow a relatively small group to control the voting of a publicly traded company. Facebook IPO in 2012 issued Class A and Class B of shares. So these are classified common stocks where it's available to public, where they can vote one per share as such. Class B shares held by Facebook CEO and other insiders were entitled to 10 votes per share. So initial public offering was offered in 2012 as such. So it's another classified stock. Buying and selling stocks. Stocks quotes appear daily in the financial press and lines. You all are familiar in the newspapers and all, in the BSE Sensex board. The scrolling will happen daily, on a daily manner. The stock quotes will change. So daily buying and selling will happen. Total number of shares outstanding multiplied by the share price will get market capitalization. Common stocks can be of par value and book value. Par value is arbitrary amount assigned to a stock when it is first issued. So when it is first issued, a normal value will be the price which we have purchased it for. So that is par value. Normally we purchase at a price set very low, representing a minimum value for the value of stock. Mainly an accounting term and not very useful to the investors. So par value is a amount which we have purchased it for at a very first purchase. Whereas book value means stockholders' equity in the firm as reported on the balance sheet. In the book value we have purchased it for, we write it at a time of entering the in accounting terminology. There all we write them. So that is what was a book value as such. It's another feature. Market value. The current price of the stock in the stock market is called as a market value. Forward looking, reflecting investors' expectations about how the company will perform in the future. Stocks usually trade at a market price that exceeds their book value, sometimes to a very great degree as such. When stock market value drops below its book value, the price which we have purchased it for, the firm is usually dealing some sort of financial distress and does not have good prospects of the growth. So when their market value has dropped below the price that they have purchased it for, so their performance, they cannot get good benefits. Investment value. The amount of investors believe the stock should be trading for and what they think it is worth. Probably the most important measure for a stockholder, determined by a complex process of evaluating risk and return, representing the maximum price an investor should have willing to pay. But the issue, so I hope it is clear. Investment value means the investor is will be willing to pay that value is a investment value. Dividend, you all are familiar. Dividend is nothing but the return which you get on shares. So profit return which you get as a profit on the shares to the owners, it's a dividend. Dividend is another feature which you will be coming across in the common stock. Dividend income is more predictable than capital gain, so it is preferred by the investors seeking lower risk as such. So these are the formulas you will be coming across. The dividend decision: the firm's board of directors evaluate the firm's operating results and financial conditions to determine whether dividend should be paid out and in what amount. Corporate versus market factors: earning per share, the amount of actual earning available to a common stockholder stated on a per share basis. EPS is equal to net profit after tax minus preferred dividend divided by number of shares of common stock outstanding. So EPS, earning per share, the formula is net profit after tax minus preference dividend minus number of equity shares. So these are the another terminologies will be coming across dividend decisions. Cash dividend are there, stock dividend are there, dividend paid in the form of cash, stock dividend paid in the form of dividend. As such, dividend yield, annual dividend receipt per share divided by market price per share, dividend payout ratio, dividend per share divided by earning per share. Stock dividend, blue chip stocks, these are the type of stocks. Stocks issued by large, well established firms with long track records of earning profits and paying dividends, they are called as blue chips. Some of the examples are McDonald's, Johnson & Johnson, Nike, Procter & Gamble, Home Depot, Walgreens. Lower companies, low risky than most stocks. Income stocks are like stocks with a long history of regularly paying higher than in average dividends. So they pay more their the more their average dividends as such. Ideal for investors seeking relatively safe and high level of current income as such. So growth stocks are stocks which are probably will be experiencing rapid growth in revenues and earnings. They pay very little or no dividends. Tech stocks, technology sector of the market they deal with, includes companies that produce computers, semiconductors, data storage devices and software, as well as those that provide internet services, network equipment, wireless communication. Apple, Cisco and all. Speculative stocks, stocks that offer potential for substantial price appreciation but that lack sustained records of success. So they are having a record, but they are having a price appreciation potential, but they lack record in the success as such. For example, like there will be a bullish market where you will be very optimistic, like hit it big in the market, like you will be expecting more benefits, but you end up with minimum profits as such. Cyclical stocks is seasonal assets, stocks issued by companies whose earnings are closely linked to the overall economy. Business cycle, the stock prices move up and down. Best for investors willing to trade in out of the stocks if the economy changes. Defensive stocks that tend to hold their value and even do well when the economy starts to flatter. Investing in foreign stocks. Globalization for financial markets is growing. So US shares of world equity market is roughly 40% in 2015 compared to 2/3 in 1970s as such. So these are some of the things. Now let's be practical. Just now what I have taught you is all about theory. Now let's be like these are the various methods which will be there in your third unit. Present value approach, dividend discount model and free cash flow valuation. Relative valuation approach, you have price earning ratio and other ratios that we are going to discuss. Present value approach, the value of any stock is the present value of future cash flows coming from a stock. So the value of any stock will be the future value of present value of future cash flow coming from the stock. For a stock, cash flows received by an investor are dividend. Yes, the benefit which you receive by an investor on a stock is a dividend. So intrinsic value of a share is equal to present value for future dividends asset. The present value is equal to future value asset. So these are the formulas. P is equal to D by 1 plus KE. So write down the formula as KE, PE, KE. KE is nothing but earnings. Okay. PO is equal to D by KE. This is one dividend capitalization model. You forget about that. Coming to this, you have three dividend capitalization methods: zero growth model, constant growth model, multiple growth model. These are three problems in dividend. When we talk about dividend capitalization method, dividend discount model, it's also known as dividend capitalization method. The value of an asset is the present value of all cash flows an investor can expect from the asset, and this approach is known as dividend capitalization method. Three types of dividend patterns can be assumed, and valuation of equity shares under all these three types of patterns can be ascertained. The three basic dividend patterns are these three: zero growth, constant growth, and multiple growth. Zero growth, this is nothing but the simplest type of dividend pattern in which the dividend amount remains constant over years. The value of shares under this model is ascertained by dividing yearly dividend by required rate of return as such. So this D is nothing but annual dividend. Dividend is nothing but what you receive the return or a profit on a stock. So that's a dividend. So PO is nothing but the value of equity shares. Just write down, make a note of this. I'm not writing over here because there is no certain here as such. So the formula is PO is equal to D by KE. D is nothing but the annual dividend divided by the required rate of return of an equity investor. So required rate of return of an equity investors over here is KE. So that is the formula for the zero growth rate model. Now the another one is constant growth rate model. Constant growth rate model is dividend are expected to grow at a constant rate, that is forever as such. So this is the formula D1 by KE minus G. D1 is also can be written as DO into 1 plus G. PO is again present value of stock. K is the required rate of return. G is the growth rate of dividend. D1 is next period dividend per share. DO is current dividend per share as such. So this is another one formula for constant growth rate. You have formulas on this. You have problems with this. So this is what it is. Level of interest risk level of stock, it is the KE. What I said, you required rate of return also, interest rate it is. Required rate of return means interest rate itself. Future profitability, G is nothing but your growth. Okay. KE minus G, G is growth. And D1 into 1 plus G also you can do a D1. Firm profitability, that is of the next period dividend per share it will be. So in growth rate model, G is the growth rate. A constant growth rate model, G is the growth rate in dividends. Expected appreciation in stock price. The expected return to the investor can be broken down into dividend yield and capital yield. In practice, this simple model will only apply to a stock with a stable dividend, typically in a fully mature and cyclical industry as such. So multiple growth rate model is where you dividends are expected to grow at a different periods. The variable growth rate also it can be said as a 2-stage or 3-stage growth rate model also it can be said. Eventually dividends enter a period of stable long-term growth which goes forever. So common to use 2 to 3 different growth rates in practice, or to estimate first few dividends directly then assume growth rate as such. So the formula for this is this one. So PO is equal to D1 by 1 plus KE. D2 by 1 plus KE is again required rate of return. K is nothing but the rate of interest or a required rate of return that will be given in the question. D1, D2, D3 are nothing but the dividends at the period of 1 year, 2nd year, 3rd year, like that infinity. And KE minus G is again required rate of return and growth rate. This is how you will be. This is another method of problem we are going to do on this. So let's do problems on this method, then we are going to go with the others. So what I'll do is, now I'll wind up the class. We'll do problems in my next class. Then further we are going to discuss about them also in further classes. I want all of you to make notes of this. So I hope it is clear to all of you the features of common stocks and various formulas. Take down this tree. I'm not going to make you confused more by showing more formulas as such. So under dividend model you have three methods. The very first method under your third unit is. So let's do this problems on this first: zero growth rate and constant growth and multiple growth. Then we are going to go with the another methods. So now I'm going to wind up the class. So in my next class I'm going to tell you further part. So see all of you guys. Take care, and bye all of you.